Okay, I think we're good to go. Lighting kind of sucks. I don't know if this is too high. Maybe that's better. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing another book recommendation video, and it's going to be a friends to lovers recommendation. Little backstory on this. When I started reading again, I was obsessed with the enemies to lovers trope. Like, there's just something about that trope that I was like, we need it for the book to be good. We need it. So then when I started hearing about the friends to lovers trope, I was like, why would I want the characters to be friends and then fall in love? Like, where's the conflict? Let me tell you, friends to lovers has plenty of conflict, okay? So without further ado, we'll get into the recommendations for friends to lovers. The first book we're going to talk about is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. Any Christina Lauren book is pretty much 99% chance going to be friends to lovers. She's the queen of the friends to lovers trope. I absolutely adore her. Her books are amazing. So check out Christina Lauren. She's a really easy author to read, I find, and just like 10 out of 10. Anyway, Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. Back in college, Josh and Hazel meet, and Josh is a TA and Hazel is just a student, and they kind of have an awkward, like, embarrassing interaction back then, and then just don't see each other for years. Hazel's character is very eccentric. She's very outgoing. One day, Josh and Hazel meet again under random circumstances, and Hazel decides they're going to be best friends. So Josh and Hazel end up hanging out more, and they decide they're going to go on all these double dates together. So they're going to set up each other with someone that they know or someone that they've heard of, and they're going to go on these dates together. But every time they go on these dates, it always ends with the two of them going home together and just hanging out. You can tell that every date that goes by, those dates are not what they're looking for, and they're looking for each other, but they don't know it. Hazel's one of my favorite book characters. She's like the most bubbly person that I've ever read about, pretty much, and I absolutely love this book. This book was hilarious. There was some tension when they finally get together. It's like, I just loved it. The next one you've probably heard of is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I've never read Emily Henry's beach read, so if you read it, let me know how it is. But People We Meet on Vacation is basically about Alex and Poppy, and they're best friends. They go on vacation with each other every single year, and that's pretty much the only time they see each other because they live in different parts of the country. Present day, Alex and Poppy are not friends. Something happened between them on one of their vacations, and they just don't talk anymore. So this book kind of flashbacks to each of their vacations, and you get to see their dynamic and everything that goes down and conflict and whatnot on each of these vacations in the past, leading up to the vacation that ended up ruining their relationship. Then there's the current vacation that they're on, which is their like reuniting vacation where they haven't seen each other in a while, and there's a lot of tension between the two of them because they're not friends anymore, but they were friends for so long. So it's like, is there something still there? Read this book. It's amazing. Also, Poppy, it's kind of like the same dynamic as Josh and Hazel, where Alex is kind of like Josh, where he's more like sullen, he's like calm, whatever, and then Poppy is so much like Hazel, where she's like bubbly, energetic, like all out there. Ugh, I love this book. The next book we're going to talk about is My Favorite Half Night Stand by Christina Lauren. So another Christina Lauren book, as I told you, but this one I read in like a couple of hours. This was really good. It's about this girl named Millie, and she is a professor at a university, and all of her friends are also professors. They're male professors though. She doesn't really have girlfriends. So her and a bunch of these male professors, they're all in like a group chat together. They're all friends, whatever. But the common thing between them is they all are single. So collectively, they all sign up for this dating site where they're just kind of looking for a date for this event that they're all going to. Prior to signing up to this, Millie and one of the friends, Reed, have like a one-night stand together, and they agree not to tell the other friends because they're like, no, this was nothing. It won't ruin our friendship. It's not, like, don't worry about it. Little do they know, when they sign up for the dating sites, it's not really going well for Millie. She's not really having too many hits. So she ends up making a fake account and matching with Reed. And she thinks it's so funny that she matched with Reed on this dating account. So she ends up like messaging him as a joke and going along, thinking that he's gonna pick up on these subtle like jokes that she's throwing out at him. He does not pick up on them and thinks that Millie, who's under the name Catherine, is a totally different person. And Millie kind of gets thrown into it because she's so deep into the lie that she just has to go along with it. And it becomes so messy. I love their dynamic. Reed reminds me so much of Reed from Criminal Minds, which is so weird, but it's a really good book. The next book I'm going to talk about is one of my favorite books of all time. It's The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. This book follows Kirsten. In the audiobook it said Kirsten, so I'm just gonna go with that. She owns this business where she makes like dog outfits and dog stares and whatnot. So if you like dogs, there's a lot of dogs in this book. Her best friend is getting married, Sloane. And the best man at the wedding is this guy named Josh Copeland, who is the groom's best friend. And they're a bunch of firefighters also, just a little side note. So Kirsten kind of loses the person that's making her dog stares and hires Josh to do it because he's good at that carpentry stuff. So they kind of become close that way, and they become friends in that sense because they're always like working together. Kirsten is engaged to somebody who's in the military, and when he comes back, Josh is like, oh, what is she doing with him? Like, she should be with me kind of thing. And like right off the bat, you can tell Josh likes her. They end up breaking up, Kirsten and the military dude, and they should be together. Like, Kirsten and Josh should be together. Except she's hiding a secret that she can't have kids. And Josh really wants kids. He broke up with his last girlfriend because she didn't want kids. So she's like, I'm not gonna put him through this again. We can't be together. So she's doing everything she can for them not to be together, even though she wants it and he wants it. But she doesn't want to put him in that place where he's forced to make sacrifices for her. It is a really, really funny book. The ending, there's a twist. There's a twist, and it has to do with the second book, which I'm not going to talk about due to the fact that I don't want to spoil it. So we're going to move on to the third book in the companion series, which is Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. So this book is about a girl named Vanessa Price, and she's like a travel vlogger, travel YouTuber, and life throws a curveball at her and she has to end up taking care of her sister's daughter, so she's unable to travel now. She lives in a small apartment, and her next door neighbor is Adrian, who's a lawyer. And one day when she's having trouble with the baby, Adrian comes over and helps her because why not? But in the beginning of the book, Adrian breaks up with his girlfriend, who I don't remember if she was cheating on him or not, but something happens and they break up. Adrian ends up like helping Vanessa so much with the baby, and it's so adorable. While in the meantime, Vanessa is also struggling to keep the secret that she's going through something medically and she doesn't believe she's gonna live for the next year. So this book is a lot like The Friend Zone in the fact that the main character is keeping a secret from the other main character so that they can't be together because of that secret. And so it's a lot of like, oh, you're so frustrated, but a good frustrated. It's amazing. It's amazing. Her writing is so funny. And if you like animals, she always incorporates animals into her books. I love Abby Jimenez. Read this book. It's so cute. Next, we're going to talk about one of my favorite books of all time, Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is the best Christina Lauren book. If you want to start with one, I wouldn't start with this because the standards were set so high from this being one of my first Christina Lauren books. Like, it was amazing. This book follows Macy, and Macy is currently engaged to a really nice guy with a daughter, and her life's kind of decent, right? One day when she's out with her friend, she runs into Elliot, her childhood friend she hasn't seen in 11 years. Not only was Elliot her childhood friend, but he was like her childhood love. Like, they were so freaking connected. One of the things about this book is that they are both readers. They both love to read, and I love when main characters like to read books. It's just like comforting, you know? This book kind of flashes forward and backwards between like the present day and the past. Anyway, when Elliot and Macy meet 11 years after, Elliot's like, oh my god, I'm still in love with Macy. I'm gonna break up with my current girlfriend because I'm still in love with Macy, even though she is engaged. Like, he just realizes he can't be loving his current girlfriend while he still loves Macy. In the past, Macy moves into a vacation house right next to where Elliot's family lives. And they are probably like 11, maybe 12 when they first meet. And Macy loves to read. She has a little library in her vacation house, and so her and Elliot just spend hours and hours and hours reading together, talking together, bonding. It's like the most adorable thing. They grow up together. And as they get older, you see their dynamic change from friends to maybe a little bit more. But then one day something happens, and obviously they stop talking, and they don't talk for 11 years. And you don't find that out until the very end of the book, and when you do, it is heart freaking breaking. This is like a comfort book. Like, when I think of Love and Other Words, I think like warm cup of tea, autumn day in bed. Like, it's just like comforting book. Like this, oh, it's so good. The last book I want to talk about is Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. Of course, you know Queen Colleen. She doesn't have too many like friends to lovers, I feel like. Heartbones by Colleen Hoover follows this girl named Bea, and she lives in a trailer home with her mom. And when her mom passes away, she's forced to move in with her father, who she hasn't seen in so long. Her father's more well off than her mom was, so she's not really used to living the way that they do. So they end up taking a ferry to this vacation home that they live at, and Bea starts like moving in there. When they get there, they live next door to this guy named Samson. And Samson and Bea kind of have this thing right off the bat where their dynamic's a little bit different. So they become friends, and if you were ever younger and read like Sarah Dessen novels, it reminds me of that, where it's like set on a beach, summer romance, that kind of thing. I absolutely love that trope. It reminds me of like my childhood, because when I was younger, that was all I would read. But Bea thinks that her and Samson have nothing in common. Bea's used to living in poverty, while Samson seems like this rich guy in this big house by the beach. Little does she know, they have more in common than you think. And there's a plot twist ending. It's not really the ending, it's more towards like the middle of the ending, where something happens, you find out more about Samson, he's not really who he says he is, and the whole thing just kind of blows up. But this is a really good Friends to Lovers. I absolutely loved Bea's character, and Samson, he was so sweet too. He deserves so much better. But it was a really cute book. It was just like a cheesy like little summer novel, and then it goes to like a twist ending where it gets a little more serious. So I really enjoyed that aspect. Anyways, that is all I have for Friends to Lovers recommendations. If you would like to see more recommendation videos, comment below what type of books you want me to recommend. I have a million books for a million tropes, so let me know what you want to see. Also, remember to like and subscribe to my channel, as well as follow my TikTok at Love of Words. I post every Sunday on YouTube and pretty much daily on my TikTok, so make sure you check that out for more bookish content.